Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my sketchbook. Madness takes its toll, please have exact change. One of my wife's favorite stickers that I have in my collection. So here we have a hand axe, all steel, made to be out of a tubular design here, and oval. And I'm just going for a very modern look with this, kind of almost science fiction in its style. All blade, this whole thing is edged and designed for piercing and for chopping and cutting, mostly for combat, obviously. Here we go. Here is a hand blade, pretty straightforward, built on a knuckle duster, designed for thrusting. Here we have a battle axe, going for this kind of a sunburst style, hollow in the center, so it's not going to be hugely heavy, but you know, the kind of something that would be ceremonial or attached to some kind of a religious group or cult. Here we have a heavy glaive, which would be, to me, says dwarven. This is what I would associate that with a kind of a dwarven culture. Here we have a heavy spear. There we go, heavy spear. Something along the lines of an African asagi, but just bumped up in size and scale. Now here we have a polearm head, obviously shaft not shown, and I really like this design. It just this, I think I did a nice job with this. I like the proportions. I think it would be very good against both unarmored or lightly armored opponents and against animals and or monsters. It's definitely going to do the piercing damage you want and stop them from getting any further in a very painful way. Here we have a double axe. Kind of the whole double axe thing is 3rd edition kind of introduced that idea, and I decided I'd take it to a different level. So a circular, almost chakram-like design, and I had 2 of them, and that kind of idea, I was kind of inspired by the reel-to-reel on a cassette. Here we have a battle staff, so we have a very kind of a curvy, almost scalpel-like blade on that end, and then a hooked style blade on this end. Vaguely elven in my book. And there we have a coupler in the center showing that this piece of particular wood is probably not one continuous limb. Here we have a set of themed maces. So here we have, this is what the top view would look like. And it is, this is actually the shaft, and that tip up there is actually wood. And then this is a metal sleeve that's been placed upon it and then pinned in place. So this is a metal sleeve that slides over the shaft, and just different versions of it. Light, heavy, and then two-handed, showing how you could have the same theme for your weapons, or say if it was a uniquely cultural thing. This is somewhat similar to a Russian geometric mace. Here we have another kind of off-the-wall axe. This is obviously based on the chaos symbol. So again, good for your chaos cultists out there if you're playing Warhammer, or just, you know, in general. And this one just has a nice little cap on the butt just to keep the wood from splintering. But other than that, no counterweight on this. Designed for, you know, it does damage, but it's also designed for having a very particular look. Here we have another hand blade, kind of based on the idea of a Chinese horned blade, kind of combining that with a chakram idea. Proportions aren't bad, might be useful. I have to ask someone who actually knew martial arts. Here we have another battle axe, again going for a circular look. I'm not sure why I did this, but I'm showing the top-down view, showing that these points have dimension and what the shaft top looks like. So this whole thing is a sleeve that slides over the shaft. So you've got this, and this is metal. It's not, I shaded it to show that it's not sharp, it's just flat, just like this is. Then we have the wrapping and a small butt cap down here to keep the wood from splinting and give you a little bit of counterbalance, counterweight. Here we have a double weapon, though I'm not really sure what you'd call this. Designed for piercing and slashing. There's a hole in there for a little bit of lightness. Tubular steel. This is designed to help keep your hand from sliding too far forward. Knurled tubular shaft, and then it's showing the the thickness compared to the shaft itself. I'm not quite sure why I thought that was important, but at the time I thought that was important. And this is back in '09. Here we have this is like could be considered a short sword or even a heavy knife. It's got a large D-ring, kind of a very angular design, which I think is kind of cool, and it has a large, almost Bowie-like blade. And I don't know why I gave holes in it. I don't really understand why I did that, but I did. Take the holes out, and I think it would be considered something you can purchase off the shelf today. Here we have a really broad, tipless sword. I saw this as a dwarven short sword. This is a blood runnel down here. There's a hole up there. I'm not sure why there's a hole up there. Maybe to match that hole there. But I really saw this as a big, chunky dwarven design. I like my dwarves to have those kind of things. Here we have my version of a wolf's tooth club. So you have, in my particular version, is octagonal top, and this is the you can actually see the wood here, and then you have these little the pins, the nails that are holding it in place are in these small facets here as opposed to the wider facets there, the non-tooth, I should say. And then you have just a standard shaft, and then there's a butt cap with this, so you could actually hang it up for storage. Because we are carrying this thing when you need it in combat, but eventually you're going to have to store it. Here we have a design which is based on the real world. This was known as an engineer sword. It was carried by cannoneers, and it was designed as a tool, so you could actually use this as a hammer. Doing that, had a sawtooth in the back. It had a scale here for measuring, and then it was a functional tool for chopping and slicing. And this was designed as a tool more than a weapon, but of course it could be used as a weapon in a pinch. Here we have another fantasy battle axe, and again I seem to really like the ring design for the butt caps, but I kind of like the way this one came out. I think that it's actually strong enough that it may function. I may have wanted to have this come up a little bit more to give a little bit more reinforcement, but I still think that the proportions are nice. And again, I don't know why I put holes in the blade. Here we have another great axe, and this one has kind of a disc design down here, and it actually shows the wood through. Again, a top view showing you the shaft, its rectangular shape, and I like that whole design. And then this either inspired the next one or was inspired by the next one, I'm not sure which, but here we have a throwing steel, obviously inspired by the Batman. And I kind of like this. I think this would be very dangerous because it's going to have all points and blades, and it's definitely going to hurt. And if it was large enough, it could do some real damage. Here we have a Japanese mace or club. It's all metal blade. This is all metal. It's got a wooden handle. This is a full tang design, metal tip down here. And I don't remember what this is called. It has a name. I don't remember what it is, but it's designed, this whole thing is, this is like 5 inches here. So, like 10-inch striking surface. It's very heavy. It's designed for fast, close in work, and I don't remember what it's called. I've seen a guy on YouTube that actually made a couple of these things, and I can't remember what he called them. Here we have another battle axe, and this was inspired by the X-Men symbol. I just kind of liked it. I thought, hey, I can turn that into a weapon, and lo and behold, I turned it into a weapon. Here we have another star-shaped theme. I like stars. They're one of my favorite symbols, and I have a template which is star-shaped, so I thought I'd use it. So here we have all points. This is much better than the axe I had shown in a previous video, because this looks like it's not going to fall apart when you use it. It's still going to have points and everything, and you're definitely going to do a lot of damage with that. And this end was another blade, but was just more of a closer to what you'd call a traditional slashing blade. You could probably make thrusts with this, but not all that easily. Here we have an axe which is all about points. This would definitely do a lot of damage and cutting, but it's not so much a slashing weapon like a lot of axes are. And here we have come down to a band. So the whole thing is slightly tapered, and I kind of like that. I think I got that taper in a way I like. I found I appreciate. And here we have a dagger, or I guess it's a dagger, which is a mirror. So at some point in the halfway mark, these ends are exactly the same shape. I just wanted to show that you could make something like this so it was mirroring to each other. And then I'm not sure if I'd seen this particular design before somewhere, but I'm probably sure it's been done by someone. We've had a long time to do that kind of thing. And down here is a lanyard hole if you want one. I just thought it was kind of cool looking, and I think it would be actually somewhat useful. You could actually use it as a weapon or a tool.